This week on the Spike and Jones podcast.
Welcome to the very first episode of the Spike and Jones podcast. I'm your humble host, Rob Jones. My buddy, Spike O'Neill from KZOK, KISW, and KJR, you know, the famous one? Yeah, he and I decided to do a podcast together, and well, congratulations, you're listening to episode 1. So with that, hoping you really enjoy this. We had an absolute blast together. Man, I think we fit really well, like two really, really dirty gloves. Just a reminder, make sure you keep this podcast 500 feet away from the nearest elementary school. And now, on to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Spike and Jones.
Does the bass have a reservoir tip?
My bass is ribbed.
for the audience's
Screw
pleasure.
her pleasure. I put them on inside out. It's for my pleasure.
Keep going.
Sure. This is all just the pre-roll, right?
Yeah.
That's like when you watch a movie and you've seen every funny joke in the trailer.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate
but like
that.
the audience who listens to this hasn't heard you swear already.
I know.
My mom called me and said, that guy swears a lot, but I don't mind because he's really funny.
He's cute. He likes his mother. And nothing irritates me more when I see a hilarious commercial. I'm like, man, if they threw every joke in this preview, I'm going to be so pissed. They better have more than the 60 seconds they were able to slap together to get my money.
It's jokes or sorry, I'm checking my levels here. I feel like I'm really bassy and you're far away.
You're so far away.
I got to dial that down for me.
All right.
What I can't stand are the trailers that show everything, including the ending of the movie. Did you see Knowing with Nick Cage? That's where
that's where his hairline's receding, right?
That's where he has the plugs.
I love that movie.
Yeah,
the sequel was great. Is this the real?
It's the one where he overacts.
I like Nicolas Cage.
I do too.
Very,
I love
very
him
much. I do too.
I
like that he found his little pocket of national treasure gold there.
Yeah,
you know?
He's the guy that he's actually a very fine actor,
a brilliant actor.
Should he choose to actually not be the crazy over the top, he doesn't have, say, Brando chops. He's not that guy.
No,
but he's
got no sense of a good project, I think, is his problem. He can't pick a good project. He can't see it. He can't smell a turd when he's about to sign his name to it.
Yeah, but you could say that about Michael Caine. Michael Caine is famous for picking every project known to man, including Jaws 4.
Michael Caine will take anybody's
exactly.
money. If Michael Caine's standing on the street corner and you offer him $500, he'll blow you.
Right.
He really likes $500.
But he's brilliant.
He's brilliant.
And
I'm not saying it's going to be a sloppy job. He's brilliant.
And you watch movies.
He's got chops.
I got to learn to just let
Michael Caine's
you talk.
got chops.
I got to learn to not interrupt you.
No, it's all good.
Caine is awesome, man.
Michael Caine's awesome.
Did you ever see Shock to the System, where he plots to kill his wife?
I have not.
Yeah,
You've got a very deep, depth knowledge of movies. You've seen some really bizarre and eclectic crap.
Deep stuff. Yeah, I watch all the fringe stuff. Honestly, it's where it's the movies are typically a little riskier, right? They're not the predictable
safe Hollywood bet. Got to make our money back movies.
Right,
yeah.
right. I mentioned this last week, I think. There's a movie, I can't remember the name of the actor. Every time it happens to me, my God, I can't even remember the name of the movie at the moment. Oh,
Don
no.
Knotts.
Take Shelter. It's just Michael Shannon. He played Zod in the new Superman movie.
Oh, I know who you are. Yeah,
Such a good actor.
Yep.
And he plays a man who believes he has seen, similar to my dream last week, believes he has seen the end of the world and knows it's coming, and everybody thinks he's crazy. Damn. And he's planning, by building a shelter in
bunker?
his backyard.
Yeah.
He lives in a tornado alley, so it makes sense that he would have this. And of course, certain things transpire that maybe or maybe don't answer that he may be crazy or actually seeing the future.
Wow.
It's really, really interesting.
Cool.
Kind of like going back to Nicolas Cage with Knowing, which is the movie that he starts finding mathematical signs that detail tragedy and events in the world, like plane crashes that kill a certain amount of people, or the tsunami that killed 400,000 people, and that they're actually timeline predictions that the end of the world is nigh.
Wow.
So going back to the original conversation we had where you said, I hate movies that tell you everything in the previews. If you watch the preview to Knowing, you literally see the end of the world happen in the trailer.
Great.
Yeah. Yay. Thanks. I will tell you, it's a fabulous movie.
It's like watching Rudy and then the trailer is them carrying him off the field.
Right.
You
Wait a minute.
Suck. What? Oh, shit. 25 years. Spoiler alert. Oops.
We do that a lot.
I like how careful you were to not let me know that the General Zod movie, like I'm ever going to see that. That was really sweet. You may or not have. I don't know. You'll have to rent the 99 cents on Netflix.
We're going to cut all of this.
Are we? Okay.
No,
that's fine.
No.
I never know what it's funny. I've told you many times I hate my voice.
I love your voice.
Well, that's because I say dirty things to you. Things like infected and pustules.
It takes an hour for us to find our way, though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's like the first.
Much like the Seahawks offense. If you can just hang in the game till the fourth quarter, we're going to find our groove.
So fortunately for me, I was driving a truck that day, and I heard it on the radio. And every 5 minutes when we had actual possession of the ball, and then I realized we were 3 and out, I hung the radio out to dry.
Nine punts or something crap like that. I mean, it was hard to watch.
Yeah,
hard to watch.
I turned it on. I listened to the first few minutes and then kind of skipped, and then I got into maybe the third quarter. I admit to being a pseudo Fairweather fan. I'm not gonna lie.
It's all good.
I got
we'll take everybody.
Yeah, third quarter.
All are welcome at the temple.
And they were saying now Arizona's coming up, and who's their quarterback?
Carson Palmer.
Carson Palmer. So
statue of a fine quarterback.
Palmer is 5 for 11 on third downs, and I was like, wow, they must be destroying us. And then they're like, it's still 3-zip, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So
we slapped their hands. It's like we went on a date and got drunk, but kept our pants on.
And nobody
slapped their
wanted
hands.
It. Nobody wanted to go all the way to home.
No, I know it was tough. It was a tough one to watch, but you know what? Who knows? We could do a whole podcast on that stupid game.
Yeah,
but they'll make another one for this week, so we'll start all over.
So you were on the sidelines. Do you get to stand on the sidelines when you're at the games?
You know what? I have had press access to the games for years. I've been on the sidelines. I've been in the press box. This particular game was in Arizona. You are a Fairweather fan. That's okay. I contemplated going down to see it because I got family down in the Phoenix area, and it's a quick trip. And pop down, get a pass from the Seahawks, and go sit up in the box or whatever, wander the stadium. I don't like being on the field or in the press box. Yeah. It's cool when I went to a few Rose Bowls and got to stand like on the field, and
you can't see anything.
It's super fun. It's not so much you can't. I don't mind that because my seats at the Seahawks game in CenturyLink, I have Seahawks season tickets. And you really can't see anything from my seats either. We're literally like second row in the end zone under the goalpost where the freaks all paint their faces.
Oh, you're in the Crow's Nest?
No, south end. The Crow's Nest is in north, but we're in the south end with the big sea fence guy, Big Low.
Yeah, Big Low.
Sea Pimp and Mr. and Mrs. Seahawk are dear friends, and I know all those folks down there. I like the atmosphere, I like the vibe. I love to scream. I love to stomp. I like to throw Skittles on the field when we score. So I don't really get to. I watch a lot of the game on the big screen because if it's at the other end, you really gotta watch. My seats aren't for a vantage point benefit. Yeah. It's really just for the vibe of the place. I had a funny moment last week. We had a new usher last week, and we've had the same usher for quite a few years, and we've gone through a couple of them in the 10 years I think I've been down in that end zone. And we had a cute little old lady in her, I'm going to say, retirement era, mid to late 60s. Somebody's mom, short, curly, silver hair, sweet little lady.
Somebody's mom.
That's somebody's mom. I always try to keep those things in perspective. That's somebody's daughter. I don't care if she's covered in glitter and she's got all my money. That's still somebody's daughter. So we score a touchdown, and I throw a handful of Skittles in the air and onto the field. I've been doing that for a few years since Marshawn, became all Skittle-ricious and whatnot. Yeah. And the lady comes, and I didn't think about it because I've been doing it forever. I go to Costco and buy the big sack of Skittles. I mean, the monster sack of Skittles. She comes up, "Can I have your Skittles?" I'm like, "No." And she's like, "I need those." I'm like, "No, you don't." And Brandon's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" They start getting up, "Hey, we've been doing that for years, blah, 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 blah." And I'm like, "Guys, calm down. She's new, And I said, look back there. I said, you can't throw those at people. I said, clearly I'm not throwing them at people.
Yeah.
I threw them onto the field. You see the guys in the end zone there with little brooms and dustbins. They're ready for us.
I'm giving them
we do this. They know we do this. It's tradition. It's part of the, and she was, okay. She was real sweet about it, but it was nice fun. I remember one time I threw Skittles on Paul Allen, literally on Paul Allen. It was when we beat the Niners at home, and that, the tip, we went to the first Super Bowl of this era.
Yeah.
And Paul Allen and John Schneider, the general manager of the team, its owner and GM, are standing right at the back of the goal line, literally, 10, 15 feet from our seats. And when, Richard gets the tip, Malcolm gets the pick, and they start taking a knee to win the game, and I'm just throwing Skittles up in the air, and they're raining down on a multi-billionaire owner of our team.
Yeah.
And he looks back and throws me a smile, right, and a thumbs up, and we're going to the Super Bowl. I'm going bat crap crazy, and the security's looking at me like, we will shoot you where you sit, and I'm like, what? Everybody's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm raining my love and appreciation onto Mr. Allen with Skittles,
Wouldn't it be cool if John Schneider was like the Dukes of Hazzard, John Schneider?
Same guy.
Like drives the the
Just
car
a
out.
good old boy.
Yeah.
How to build us a team.
I hated that show. I was the right age. Just
Oh, yeah.
I just didn't like dumb. I call it dumb comedy.
Yeah, it's Americana. It's a flyover state kind of comedy.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you. I like intellectual humor. I was a Monty Python kid, not a Dukes of Hazzard kid.
Yeah.
I like him smart. I like to think about a joke.
Someday, this would be yours. What, the curtains?
Life of Brian.
Yeah. No.
Is that History of the World? No.
No. History of the World. That's Mel Brooks.
No. I'm thinking
Holy Grail, dude.
Holy Grail.
Yeah. So I mean, same.
Oh,
difference.
right.
It's when the father is showing his son.
I like Brian.
His
Brian's
very
my
fey
favorite.
son
Yeah.
out the window. Yeah. So Spike and I have come up with this deep six concept. And we'll probably eventually have one of those buttons you push that goes deep six or whatever. And now CBS Radio Deep Six.
Six with Spike and Bro.
But the idea that we would have this topic of conversation every week, so we actually have a reason for you, the listener, to listen. Mm-hmm. So it's not just tangential radio, but it's actually Rob and Spike and Rob and Rob and Spike and Rob having fun and talking in depth about a something, right? Mm-hmm. So, Spike, tell us, what is this week's concept?
I don't know. I think we should deep six anger this week.
Anger.
Yeah, talk about anger and how it affects your life and how you deal with anger and what makes you angry. And if we could find maybe 6 different things to talk about in relation to anger.
Okay.
And deep six them, which means not just give us we talked about doing maybe a top 10 list.
Right.
Or whatever. But if you deep six something, you give a list, but you also go in depth on all these aspects of it. So I like to deep six anger because you told me you were angry.
Yeah.
And I cared.
Yeah.
Because, as you were talking about what can we talk about this week, I'd like to talk about why you're angry and what you're doing to get better.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I want to address it. I'll start it by addressing something I'd said to you a few weeks ago on the podcast where I'd said...
it's hygiene, isn't it?
Yeah, where you don't want to get me mad, like that 3% of me that goes crazy and I'll hate you, sort of, and I'll want to murder you. That's actually not true at all. The truth is
Closer to 75%.
I'm a pent up guy.
Okay.
I think how I was raised, I wasn't, a lot of people think I'm Catholic, for example. I'm not.
Okay. Are you religious but not Catholic?
I'm actually, I really kind of struggle. I mean, I've talked about religion,
Right.
spiritual,
Yeah,
and trusting in God.
You've confided in me that you've got a belief system.
So, to be very clear to listeners, I am.
And I don't mean to pry.
No. I'm good with anything. I'm a Christian. Okay, and when I say Christian, I believe that Jesus is the Son of God who died for our sins. Truly believe that. I'm also the guy who pretty much doesn't impress that idea upon anybody else. It doesn't mean that I
Good
won't.
For you.
If somebody wanted to quote unquote challenge that idea, I would love to have a conversation about it. But it's not like my God is better than your God sort of concept. I just feel like I feel like a Christian's responsibility is to just live a life of value and meaning, and to love people where they stand, and that people would recognize Christ's love for them through me.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's a fair way to deal with the world.
Yeah.
Pretty benevolent system.
Well, I just I mean, if we're all doomed, I mean, that's why I feel grace is such an important thing, because I mean, without grace, I mean, I'm screwed. I don't deserve heaven. I'm a douchebag. No, I mean, as a human being, I'm a good guy.
We're flawed, yeah.
I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
But to go back to that anger thing, I mean, I think, I wasn't the best dad the first time around. A lot of it, I think I held grudges. I was the dumb guy that got married too young and had kids too young, and I wasn't prepared, and I was very bitter about that. Now, I made these choices. Mm-hmm. So what right do I have to torture my ex-wife and my older children by, it's all your fault that I have no hope and no future.
Okay.
That's not fair.
You sucked the life from me.
Right. You've taken my dream away.
Right.
Tom Likas calls it dream killers, right? Don't get married, she's a dream killer, right? Have you heard that?
No.
Okay.
If I have, I've forgotten it.
Okay.
It's funny.
I'm not going to give Tom Likas any power in the radio today, but I just really struggle with that. And how I grew up was my parents were they're both pretty quiet individuals. My mom's certainly more gregarious than my father was, but they just I wouldn't call them passive aggressive. I think that's unfair, but they just held their thoughts and feelings pretty close to the vest. And then so if my father would never really get angry. I mean, I've seen my dad mad maybe 3 times in my life.
Wow.
I mean, really.
Okay.
He just held it in, kind of ate it, digested his anger.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. My mom was a little more forthright with it. But they were great parents. I mean, very loving and kind, but because they were internalizing a lot of things.
Okay.
I think, you get trained, right? How you grow up.
Well, yeah, of course. You learn what you live.
So I would internalize, I think I have a lot of talents, a lot of skills, and I had some successes with those.
Okay.
But when things wouldn't go right, I would just internalize it. And then it would get this boiling point,
okay,
it's very rare for me. But when it hits that, it kind of like, I'm one of those dumb I'm like the berserkers in those Viking movies.
Okay.
I just foam at the mouth and I lose my mind.
Okay.
I lose my mind.
Does it pass? Do you blow it off and you're back to being Rob?
Really fast.
You Hulk out and then you're standing there
really
naked
fast.
to the wind in tattered clothing?
Yeah.
With no memory of why there's wolf blood and a piece of bone in your mouth? You have no idea?
No, it's true. I mean, it's true. Yeah, my pants somehow still fit. Okay. But my kids, especially, I mean, I'm better now as a 50-year-old man by far than I was as, I say, a 23-year-old man when I had my first children. But those older kids, they got the unintentional, occasional, slightly, I mean, highly occasional, but that weird berserker dad that lost his mind.
Mm-hmm. I noticed a little mark on your wrist. Did you punch something?
No.
Please, if I ever go too far, just
no. Actually, I have vitiligo. I have what Michael Jackson says he had.
Okay, so you're black officially. You've got
right. I'm mulatto.
Okay, I'm a mosquito.
Is that
my
a term?
libido?
Is that actually is mulatto like an offensive term? I don't even know.
I think isn't a mulatto
half black, half white?
Is it a mixed race person?
Yeah.
Okay. Like octoroon, quadroon,
like
is 1/8 black, black.
Mariah Carey is mulatto.
Okay,
I believe.
I think that's not used in a derogatory sense. I think you may be misusing it, but I think your goal is to be clinically.
Okay. Yeah, I am trying to clinically. Okay. It's like the difference between wiener and penis.
Okay.
Mulatto mix.
Right,
I don't know.
Anthony Penis, former representative from New York.
Exactly.
Man,
this chair just loves my tuchus today.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a fine leather glove.
But you got the bonus blend.
Oh, so I have vitiligo.
Okay. So, well, I mean, we're talking about you're dealing with some anger issues, and I misinterpreted the mark on your knuckle for look. I punched a wall because I have raged out and in my youth. I mean, there was a day when I was working on a project with a bicycle at home. My dad couldn't get his new bikes. We were from modest means. My brother and I wanted new shiny new bikes. So my dad says, "Look, you know what? I got you some spray paint. Take your bikes apart and repaint them." So we were going to do that, and the paint dripped on this bike I was trying to paint, and I got so furious that I literally took a hatchet to my bike frame. I was so mad, scared the shit out of my mom. Obviously, yeah,
full-on hatchet,
and just like banged on this thing. I was so pissed that this paint dripped and ran, and I couldn't get it right.
So basically, you did what African American people did in South Central LA. You burned your own neighborhood.
I rioted
Wow, I
on
really took it
my
there.
own goods.
I took it there.
Yep, I had a self-induced riotary moment there. No, I just lost control of my temper. So I think, I guess I'm trying to say that we've all, I think, have that or have gone there in our time. Everybody's got an anger level. Everybody, but like you said, you're 50 now. You're better now. You move through it.
Yeah.
When you're younger, you're supposed to not be able to control your rage. And
every once in a while, I still have those weird sort of blind moments, but they're really rare. And I don't know. I think a lot of it is just growing older and maybe gaining some wisdom from the
perspective.
experience.
Yeah, you bet.
But no, I do have one dumb thing I did in a fit of just young, stupid rage. Mm-hmm. So in 1991, I believe, I was living in Virginia. I was in the Navy, and it was my mom's. I remember this very clearly. It was my mom's birthday, September 17th, 1991, and I was really into video games, really, really into video games. And I had a Nintendo, like every other military kid. You know what I mean? And my wife's in the bedroom and my baby boy's in the bedroom and everybody's sleeping and it's like midnight and I'm sitting there on the living room floor playing a video game. I don't remember the name of the game, but I kept hitting this spot in the game that I couldn't get by. I couldn't get by. And for some dumb reason, I punched the floor. I broke my hand. It hurt so bad. It was massive, massive, stupid pain. And I went to the doctor the next day. I was in the Navy, and I guess they see this a lot. He goes, "This is a boxer's fracture." And I said, And he goes, "So who did you hit?" Because in the military, they're always trying to find out so they can put you in jail.
Right. Well.
And I'm like, I didn't hit anybody. And they're like, "No, who'd you hit?" I said, I didn't. I totally lied. I said, I was playing with my son and I tripped and fell and landed on the ground and punched the ground. Seriously, I actually said that.
Right.
And he goes, "Okay," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He goes, "Well, we're going to have to put a cast on." So it's my right hand. And, I shave and brush my teeth and everything with my right hand. So all of a sudden I'm like, I'm just an idiot for the next 6 weeks.
But the good part was masturbating with your left hand was like cheating on yourself, right?
Right. That was always the hand of choice.
I
anyway.
digress.
Sorry, Mom. Sorry, please do not listen to this podcast.
Okay.
I'm going to put
so you're in a cast. You can't shave. You can't.
I
brush,
can't do
you
anything.
Write.
I can't do anything with that. And then about a week later, I'm in my cast. I'm sitting there on the floor, and I got nothing to do. I'm watching CNN, and I'm like, man, I'm going to try to play a video game. And so I pull it in. I pull up that game, the same one. I get to that spot, and I go right through it. No problem. First time. Didn't die once.
Great.
I know, and I was like, seriously? Seriously, that's how it works?
there's your spiritual moment of the day.
Yeah. So don't hit the floor. But no, I've never been that guy. I've never been a puncher. I've never been a fighter.
Yeah.
I'm actually scared of it. I'm scared of getting hurt.
Yeah.
But no. So actually, what's going on now, Spike, is it's not so much anger as in wanting to freak out, lose my mind, go berserker. It's not that at all. What it is now I'm at a place in my life, 50-year-old guy. I'm starting a new company. I have thoughts and ideas, things that I want to impress upon others because I believe in the general concepts. That's my buddy Rob. Hey, Rob. I believe in these ideas, and I'm trying to find the right business professionals to join this group of business professionals and share these concepts and ideas. And of course, that means I'm going to bring a lot of different people in to find who fits and who doesn't.
Sure, you're trying to build a team.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And it's tryout time.
Right. It is tryout time, and trying to monetize something during tryout time is insanity because trying to find the right people is difficult enough, but trying to get people to pay for something when you don't have something fully formed is honestly unfair.
Right.
Would you want to pay for something when you're not getting the full meal deal? I wouldn't.
No, it's harsh. You're looking for venture capitalists during tryouts, and
right.
You're asking people to make a commitment when you're not able or willing to make a commitment to them that's leaving be here.
Right.
When the thing crosses the finish line or even leaves the gate.
Right.
Yeah, it's a tough haul.
And so the stresses that have been coming into my life are really self-induced, okay, to be fair. But something happened yesterday that really reminded me that I struggle with who I am, meaning, I had a couple of professionals I really greatly admire challenge me on that specific thing I just said, talking about like when, it's not fully fleshed out yet, Rob, so it's kind of unfair to and that's completely 100% correct.
Sure.
The but of this has nothing to do with what they did. The but has to do with I went home and I thought about, well, I was actually yelling at the sky. I was yelling at my king in heaven. And I was complaining about the fact that why did you make me so zealous and so passionate, so all in? I'm such an all in guy.
Okay.
Like you and I met not that long ago, and I'm like, I consider you one of my favorite people in the whole world. I mean, I know that freaks people out. Like, dude, quit texting me or quit whatever, right? Quit. You're just too much too soon. But I'm programmed like that.
Okay.
And it's a massive struggle because I can't slow that down. And honestly, to be fair, I shouldn't have to.
No,
I shouldn't have to mask who I am. So the struggle for me, Spike, is how do I continue to be as transparent and real as I am when I know that I completely overload 99% of people. I mean, I freak people out.
Well, okay. So to me, my perception of that is that you just have to weigh the outcomes. I mean, it's a math problem.
Yeah.
You're going to lose X amount of opportunities because of who you are, but diminishing who you are to not lose those opportunities is going to cost you way more opportunities in the long run.
Yeah.
So if to be successful at anything, be true to yourself.
Yeah.
So it's a no-brainer. You can't, to deviate from who you are and what you're passionate about, what you're zealous about, is a disservice to yourself, and it's going to eventually, inevitably undermine your success at anything.
Yeah.
So the people who can't take it, that's the cost of doing business.
That's true. It's a speed thing for me, and I don't mean amphetamines.
No, sure. The show's not sponsored. You have to get one. We'll let you know, right?
Boy,
you'll know. You'll know.
Hey, Coca-Cola.
Is it warm in here? Woo!
I see how we both did that. We both just like gang banged the idea.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Yeah.
Pfizer. It makes me angry?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a spit roast.
Woo! When a commercial.
Did I just say that too?
I like when a commercial can cure restless leg, for example.
Oh my gosh!
We may have covered this already once. Restless leg. People have restless leg syndrome. That'll, your leg does this the whole time you're sitting there.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
Yeah.
And there's a pill for that now. Great, but the 40 seconds of the 60-second commercial are the side effects of the pill.
This may induce, vomiting, diuretic,
anal bleeding, dying. You could have shortness of breath, heart attack, blah blah blah. And your teeth could fall out. Your eyelashes could become green.
Yeah.
And but your leg will stop moving because you're dead.
Yeah.
If you look at the list of symptoms.
Yeah.
What wouldn't I trade? Just make my leg shake and I can get rid of all these symptoms. Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, duh.
Well, but it's interesting that you say that because that actually goes up against what I was just talking about the speed of growth of this company I'm starting, which is I want things, I guess like anybody, I want them now, right? I don't want to hang on for the pain of the organic growth. And that is my father's greatest weakness. That was the thing that absolutely crushed his capabilities. My dad would never, ever stick with it. I used to think he was what I call failing fast, right? You say, this doesn't work for me. I got to move on. I got to find my heart, my joy, right?
Right.
And I love this podcast thing. I love this.
Okay.
So when I called you today, I was like, dude, let's do this,
Yeah.
This is a blast and so cathartic. But when he died, my wife and we were talking about this and she goes, I just realized you're just like your dad. You just were programmed to, which scares the crap out of me because I know I'm highly capable, Spike, but I don't seem to ever be willing to stand the pain. The only thing I've ever had a success at in my life outside of my musical career, which was, whatever you'd call that for a guy who never really quote unquote made it, right? You know what I mean? I had some good stuff I did, and I've been a part of a lot of neat things. I've met a lot of cool people and seen a lot of the world. But I've always been the guy who, kind of struggled. I mean, my marriage is my greatest success.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've been with my wife for a long time now.
We've 7 weeks, right?
We've been together 19 years.
No kidding.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
And we have 3 beautiful children, and I have my 3 beautiful children from before, and 2 grandchildren, and so I'm very blessed in that regard. But I have in my brain the thing that says I've got to create legacy. I've got to create legacy. I mean, I have to create it. And now as a 50-year-old, I'm like, holy shit. Hurry. So I'm like, please God, give me patience and hurry. You know what I mean? So I'm not so much angry. I'm just really freaking frustrated.
Okay.
And so my shout to God last night was, I called God a cunt. That's how pissed off I was. I actually used the word cunt.
You know what?
You fucking cunt.
You know what the worst part of this is?
I'm sorry.
No. If you had held back and not said the words, he still would have known what you were going to call.
I know. And that's why I said it. I was like, okay, you love me. I'm your son. I know you made me. You gave me all the skills. Please put somebody around me who can handle my over the top approach to life, the sensibility of who I am and how much I care, because I'm the guy who goes, I fucking care, man. I'm that guy. Yeah. And I know it freaks people out. It's freaking you out.
A little.
But I
you can't see me moving closer to the door.
Yeah. Spike is actually starting to get in his shell right now. The funny thing is though, your shoulders literally did raise.
Did they crunch down? Well, I had a dad who was a table puncher, so you brought me close to home there. No, it's we've all got, I'm impatient. I don't have any follow through, but as a parent and a husband of 25 years, you learn to think big picture, and you learn to, stay the course and play the end game. So you're okay.
So what do you do about anger? When you encounter it, what happens to Spike?
Boy, it's funny because I am a vindictive motherfucker.
Yeah, you said.
I will hate you for the end of time if you screw me over. I will carry it to my grave, and I will revel in your misery, and I will constantly not really act on it, but wish for your demise and your ill will. Your misfortune. I don't get angry too much. My wife has some moments where she really just loses her control on her anger, and it's all cool. We all do it. I'm not sure she's not choosing to treat things that way or react that way. And it's funny when you're in a marriage and a parenting relationship, you try to balance each other out. At least I do. I try to yin and yang it a little bit. If I find her being overly, one way or another, I'll try to kind of counter that for the benefit of our kids, seeing both sides of a situation. I went through rehab 20 some years ago, and one thing I gleaned from that experience was that you can't control the world. What you can always control is how you let the world, how you let it affect you, how you react to it. Yeah. I'm not saying this very well, and I apologize. I tell my daughter all the time, you can't control what's going to happen to you, but you can always control how you react to it and how it affects you. You can always decide. You make a choice to get mad. Yeah. Crappy stuff's going to come or go, and good shit's going to happen or not. And you make a choice to let it ruin your day. You make a choice to get mad at people. This one person can do something to 3 different people, and they'll all react differently. They've done the same thing, but the reactions are all different because they choose to see how they let it affect them. Yeah. And I try to give that to my daughter. So, you don't have to get mad at this. You don't have to get frustrated at this. And frustration makes things harder. You're making it harder, and you're putting on ankle weights, and you're making it harder. You're putting more weight on the bar, and you can't, by becoming frustrated and angry, finding the solution to the problem is even more difficult. I try to just keep, steady as it goes, man.
Yeah.
Just how do I deal with anger? Is just think long term, and just realize, look, the anger is not going to help me solve the problem. Although some problems greatly benefit from anger,
Right?
They really do, and some situations require you to be angry. And I think that's kind of human nature in itself.
So name one, because I'm not sure I know what you're referring to when you say that. If
someone
being a boxer,
no, if someone intrudes upon my family's space, someone gets too close to my wife or daughter, I'm going to get fucking angry.
Okay,
I'm going to get angry big and fast, and it's going to benefit my family to do so, and that's my primordial defense, fight or flight mechanism.
Right.
And my, alpha male domineering over protect my family, my Flintstone kicks in, and I think that's something that you can't, life's evolving so quickly for us. Things are changing so quickly, but we've been around for, depending upon your belief system, either 4,000 years or.
No, it's 6,000 years.
I don't know. I don't even know. I tried to make the joke. I don't even know. Right. When Jesus rode in on the dinosaurs, he said, vote Palin.
Yeah, those are, what do they call those? Jesus horses. That's
right,
what they call them.
JH. Right. So if you believe in the theory of evolution, and I respect your right to not, or whatever, if we've been around for millions of years, then, the last 2,000 years where we want everything now,
right,
we're not going to change that quickly. We're still going to be cavemen.
Right.
Deep down, evolution takes time.
Right.
And just because I can microwave a meal in 45 seconds or find the movie or show I want to watch in a matter of a moment, I'm still going to be a caveman if somebody reaches at my kid.
Yeah, we're now people. And we always have been. I guarantee you, people in the 1800s, they didn't have a laptop or a microwave,
or a light bulb or a flush toilet,
but they still wanted what they could get now. Right? They wanted things immediately. Everybody, I don't think there's anybody that isn't. I always worry about people then when they say they're not ambitious. No, there's a difference between lack of ambition and laziness, but they don't necessarily know what it is that they're supposed to do, so they've just accepted the way things are. That's how I see it.
Okay.
I don't see anybody as lack of ambitious. I call them uneducated or uninformed. Just because I believe in the better for people.
No, I hear you. Well,
I get that there are unambitious people.
So is ignorance a greater flaw than lack of ambition or laziness?
I don't consider it a flaw. I just think that people, we're all selfish bastards, man.
Mm-hmm.
And very few people actually take the time to teach, to learn, one, for themselves, and two, to teach others. And
most people do.
Yeah.
I think ignorance is a choice for a lot of people.
Oh, but I don't disagree.
And I know some people don't get opportunity, and I'm a firm believer that there are elements of society that have been hindered through lack of opportunity. I'll fully buy into that theory every day of the week. But some people make a conscious choice to be ignorant.
Yeah.
It's never been more prevalent than this election cycle, and I'm not going to go there again because I seem to do that every damn week. But
you love it.
But to their defense, there's a comfort in ignorance.
Sure.
There's a tremendous comfort in ignorance.
Sure.
Some people would say, and I'm not one of them, but some people would say that religion is an acceptance of ignorance for the sake of comfort, and that's cool.
And that's a completely fair
and a very
response
and a just decision to make.
Yeah.
Imagine going through life with no rudder or no thought that there is something greater than this. If I can just be a good person, I'll have my reward.
Right.
I don't want to.
I don't want to be your friend.
Well, I don't want to go through life thinking there's nothing afterward. And I don't want to think that I've done all this for no. It's like, why get on the football field if you can't score a touchdown and win? Religion's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Why go through the motions of being a good soul and a decent person if you don't think there's a reward at the end of it? Should be a reward itself, but that's not how we're wired.
Yeah. I think, of course, we can save this for another Deep Six.
We can Deep Six religion next week.
Yeah. I think that'd be a good one. But I just think, we'll save that one. Well, so you talk about being angry and losing your mind in regards to like never letting somebody, if somebody fails you, gets you in trouble, for example,
or betrays you.
What started that? Was it natural? Was it the way your parents were? What was it? Did it just come into your life?
I think probably for me, it's a sense of family and community, and knowing who you can count on, and taking the comfort in that, and knowing that someone you think and you've invested trust and time and love in, that you think is someone you can count on, and they can count on you. And that kind of betrayal is the deepest betrayal.
Yeah.
And so that's it's not just anger at them for doing it. There's also self-anger for allowing that to happen.
Yeah.
You know, you're mad at yourself for
didn't see
being
it
so
coming.
gullible, you know, and so trusting and so naive. So that cuts both ways. That cuts you coming and going. That's
Well, yeah,
the
you
worst.
blame yourself and you blame
Sure.
them.
Oh yeah. There's plenty of blame. That's a blame grenade, man. Everything goes. You know.
There's a lot of shrapnel in that blame.
Everybody's going down.
Yeah. That yeah, gosh, I really want to ask you more about that, but I know you don't really want to talk about that. How does your family deal with anger?
In the exact footsteps of how they were raised. It's funny you mentioned that you learned your skill sets from your folks.
Yeah.
You know, I have a daughter who I see, you know, getting frustrated and angry at the littlest things. And I know that's a tribute to youth. I mean, that's when I chopped up my bike. I would never do that today. It's youth. You live, you learn, you grow, you know. You learn from your mistakes, the burned hand, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
You know, my wife was raised by a guy who would lose his temper. And not a physical guy at all, but just a guy who would yell and be unhappy visibly and physically about things and make it known. And she tends to have the same characteristics. And it's funny, I was too. I was raised by a stepdad who was, an Army sergeant who toured Nam and came home with some PTSD Easter eggs for us to find throughout our lives. And he yelled and he stomped and, he spanked, and only because we needed it and we deserved it every single time. But
Sure.
But I don't do that.
It's interesting, though, you bring up PTSD, though. I mean, I certainly understand why up from Nam. I mean, my God.
Yeah.
I totally get that. And yet, my dad grew up in a very, very difficult situation, which, I've podcasted about it before, and we can talk about it again another time. But I really feel like he internalized so much. The fact is he had PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
He just grew up in a very, very aggressive household where he could do no right.
Oh yeah,
None.
that's traumatic, and there's your definition of PTSD.
And
It doesn't be war.
Yeah, and he wanted to. I can tell. Now obviously he's passed away. I would love to talk to him about this, but.
You can. That's the beauty of that, though.
Yeah.
You can.
Well, I interviewed him before he died.
Oh, really?
That was really tough, dude. I listened to it the other day. Oh my God, just tears. But I asked him about that stuff, actually.
Yeah. Wow, what a gift.
And I'll let you listen to it one of these days. It's really intense. I mean, it's like you can hear still after all these years. I asked him, I said, do you forgive your mom and dad? And he goes, no. Here he is, 74 years old.
Yeah.
He's on his deathbed, and he can't let it go. Made me so sad. But it made me think about, myself. I mean, I kind of have the same thing going on.
Yeah.
And I don't like that about me. I'd like to think I'm a pretty awesome, fun, interesting, weird, cool guy with some good skills. But that one thing just fucks me up.
Yeah.
And
they say drop the rock, right?
Yeah, and it sucks the life.
I know it's easy thing to say, but
I mean, I can walk into, if I'm in a bad mood, I mean, granted, we can all do this, but I walk into a room and because of my zeal, because of my fervor, right? Mm-hmm. I'm the guy who walks in the room and it's like a time bomb went off. Negativity has arrived and welcome home. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And that's not fair. And, it's funny because my older daughters, I should say my youngest older daughter, who I love her tremendously. But she has the same thing, and she learned it from me. It's not her fault. It's me. And I can, I think I'm doing better now. And so I hope this next generation of children will not have that so, instilled in them as my older generation did.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, when you look at a group of children raised by a family, the last one is always the coddled one, right?
Sure.
The first one has the toughest road. The middle one gets neglected or overlooked, and the last one out is a free ride. That's because parents just wear down, like a nub, you know. And they learn and they get better at parenting.
Yeah.
I mean, we have 2 daughters and they're 14 years apart. And it's like we have 2 only children.
Yeah.
We totally almost named the little one Mulligan because it was just a total do-over.
I love the fact that maybe isn't a joke.
We thought about it. We're Irish. It would have worked.
That would have been hilarious. This is my daughter Mulligan.
Her sister's much older than her. But you always hope for, God help you don't learn from your mistakes. God help you make mistakes with your kids, and you make the same mistakes with the next one and the next one and the next one. God, what? I mean, the ability to learn is all we got.
Yeah,
that's what separates us from the animals. Even the animals can learn, but that's our greatest gift, is the ability to grow and learn.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how you deal with anger, I guess. You realize that, look, anger isn't helping me. Anger is not solving the problem. And eventually, some people don't, but eventually, hopefully, you'll learn that.
Yeah.
Right. And you take it for what it's worth. You don't give anger. You don't hand anger the gun. You don't give anger the car keys.
Yeah.
You don't give anger the menu and let them order for the table. Fuck that shit.
Do you? Okay, so let me ask you a question. Do you struggle when you're having a hard time? Mm-hmm. Okay, which clearly with you is rare. You said it's rare.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, so far my experiences with you have always been really good. Even when you have this sort of fringe negativity, it's more done through comedy. Maybe that's a protection mechanism.
That's a total defense mechanism.
Yeah.
Sure.
Where was I going with this? Crap! I totally lost my train of thought.
Question.
I'm
That's okay.
sorry. I just
you don't give anger the menu and let them order for the table. Is what I said, and you said, "Oh, let me ask you a question."
I don't know. I don't freaking remember. I literally don't remember.
Okay.
That's okay. I'm sorry, listeners.
When
I
you
completely lost my train
when you
of
wake
thought.
up at 3 this morning, text me.
Yeah, you won't respond until tomorrow night.
I'll try.
By the way, Spike does not respond to texts in a timely manner.
I think 17 a day is a little much. I'm just saying.
I do text.
You're a
quite
zealous
bit.
man. You have passion, and I love that about you. But
you're learning.
I am learning. And you said you prefer text or calls. So, well, text are easy to ignore. So by all means, text away, MacGyver.
Yeah, I know. I sent you like 17. I did send you 17 or so texts. I did.
That's okay. That's okay.
Speaking of MacGyver, so I know the guy who wrote it all.
Really?
And produced it. And he lives over in Bainbridge.
I hope he's rich, because that's some gold, man.
He's doing okay.
Writers make great money.
Yeah.
They really do. When you own intellectual property, you're doing good, man.
Yeah, he's done a few movies. He's produced a few movies. Directed something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The guy who wrote MacGyver.
Yeah, he lives in Bainbridge.
Cool.
He's
What a great
really,
concept.
He's really cool.
Give me a hairpin and a coat hanger, and I'll get us out of this fucking. That guy could that's it's great.
So
Great concept.
Apparently, we are limited in time today, and it's because Robbie decided he wanted to jump over to Spike's office at the last minute, so we do have to cut it short.
I'm sorry about that.
No,
Have
it's okay.
fun.
But all that being said, we are going to start working on this Deep Six comment. So if anybody out there would like to have us discuss a topic, we would love that. And eventually we'll get to a place where we might even start announcing when we're doing these and make them live, and maybe actually treat it like a radio show and have call-ins. I think that would be
with
fun.
a podcast?
You can.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff we can do. If we start broadcasting on Skype, we can broadcast. This is going to be cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So all that being said, thank you everybody for listening.
I mean, we're done. You done? How long have we gone? Really?
We don't
No,
have to be
that's okay.
done. Spike's giving me the ixnay on the octave time.
No. It's you got to do what you got to do, and I appreciate the opportunity to sit down with you and literally. I mean, this for me. This is so therapeutic. I guess.
Yeah.
It's such a salve for what's wrong in my world right now. Is that I can't do what I love doing, and I'm doing something I don't love, and it's okay. I'm doing, it's the growing up thing, doing what you got to do until you get to do what you want to do. But this is great. I love doing this.
Yeah.
This is what I used to do every day, and this is what gives me not just pleasure, but self-assurance and, reassurance.
Yeah.
Part of my job now in sales is I get to write copy and I get to do some creative things, and there's so many elements of my job I don't understand yet and I don't have a grasp of, because first off, my brain's covered in rust and cocaine residue. So I can't really take on
Is that
much.
what your rehab was from?
No, actually marijuana, and they laughed me out of the building. It was so funny. I moved to Seattle in the late 80s and started smoking local weed as opposed to the brown dirt I was buying back east.
Yeah.
And I had to go to rehab. I was smoking so much weed. We've talked about this on the air, so I don't care. But I'd go to rehab in the days of crack and coke. And everybody there was like, what are you here for? Oh, occasionally it's some heroin. The opioids hadn't really caught on yet. There weren't a lot of pill junkies in there. Most of them were crack. Most of them were coke. We all smoked a little weed. I got laughed at rehab. You couldn't smoke weed? Wow. No, I'm from the East Coast. I wasn't raised here.
You can't contain your high.
I wasn't raised among you skunk ranchers of the Great Northwest. And all that you do. When you drive down the street nowadays by the legal pot stores,
It's insane.
The whole car reeks of, when you can, it's like I ran over a skunk. The whole car reeks of weed.
Yeah.
As you drive down, I used to come to work at 4 a.m. on the motorcycle and drive through, Upper Aurora by the Seattle City line where the weed shops are.
Yeah.
And you could this pungent funk hung in the air.
Yeah.
So I'd circle the block 3-4 times, breathing as deeply as I could, getting my secondary smoke
On your way to rehab.
On my way to the radio show in the morning. Now, if you got to go, you got to go, and I appreciate that. I don't think we only got a couple deep 3, deep 4s.
I know, we got a deep 3.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll press on, and it took us a while to get a finer groove, but as we do this, and I appreciate people's patience.
Yeah.
As we find our dance moves and learn how to tango, to do audio tango.
Yeah. So we're going to start branding this. I have no idea yet. We haven't had the conversation yet, but we're going to, to make sure I stay on task with the Rockstar Superhero podcasts, Spike and I will take this and create a brand with it. But we're having a blast together, and he's a great guy, and I'm just so blessed. I'm so blessed you're in my life, dude.
Thanks, brother. And I appreciate your being as persistent to put a smiley face on that.
17 texts a day.
No, dude, I love that, because I will drop the ball. I got too many things going on and too many plates in the air and pulled in too many directions, and I've never had a focus skill. I deem myself an artist at best because it's a glorified way to say goof off.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can stay after me and have enough faith in me to keep pushing this agenda on me, with me, for me, I really do appreciate that, and I'm having a ball. So
thanks, buddy.
Keep coming back, as they say in AA.
I will. I'll keep coming back as long as the listeners are listening and they don't yell at me too much. I think this would be really cool.
Right on.
I love you, man.
You too, brother.
See ya.